episode for higher GC News. Bima Ubibia Aqua had the latest hot and qua Aremeyaw Bromo. Erunti Sonya subscribe to channel idea, Bomodia say over subscribe. The bayan say over click a year subscribe material. Now wabele notification. We answer video for be upload when the first person once ebeka a video. I feel we are now like video. Give us a thumbs up, now fee. Share my wafufro so now when you be here now and somewhere koso ewo Ghana be mo hanom afi ye hwe eye somewhere abeto ye pono so yiti eye sankomo ya ba beto ya sa report mama yiti
Innocence. Chief Justice and matters arising from minority to suspension and other things.
Yeah, I think Chief Justice Sammy I can't.
Yeah.
You see, I take a certain twist. And Rabbi who are brandy and Franca Cranka, also by demonstration, you said, and you
Nanabi.
It's only a friend.
Nanabi.
You could see clearly, sir, the issues are a honor or must sway the conversation, and people are pursuing a certain political agenda. Yeah, my culture say, Yakotuaba, not Ghana for concern about our judiciary. That there is the need for us to prune it. Because one institution are aimed to mean fairly. A failure in a way will go down. Yes. So the air cost it's not something I would say politically motivated. And the air cost beginning thereby and I'm also John Mahamadu Shah see and I not just so Chief Justice and then Yamiadum petitioners and be any moment.
Additional to crowd
first petitioner, I a police officer
5.
And yet a police officer no, he's a lawyer or greater crowd ACP. Or the same court, and the idea 7 year bogun so. And now, what Jatum not to her. Mammy, my better can't say, Omunipa. They virtually look down on almost everybody. And you know, Nipana what did not say we were one for no. Then, according to the gentleman, who can your friend saying, Mosara Manipa, and who senior lawyer Albert and I wouldn't share that kind of remark. And I'm a manager court and all can move Biatina. All good police in any mass our court.
Now her titles, they're not there.
And what would that attitude no chim na no ko heba bia say we are school was wrong. Police no ya I a lawyer. Wadi na sem wadi ne for. Fine wajiatum. Then off record comments. And who as a disparaging comment who go na say. And then the police officer can say I disagree with you. My man say police boy monchino. And the police officer was detained. Oh yes. That is what happened in the petition. And you know, Asare has nothing to do with the NDC. A personal way DOB.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Nipa Kramba.
Yes.
Say your friend said say no the police no I'm a lawyer. And my catcher that your friend Adibi, your friend say sir your friends say a latest arrogance bina menkwa na mako school they look down when we nipa that kind of attitude no and abra John Mahama conference we are so bold dia or team na no style we na man for free say no that is that because the gentleman in the petition described it say that was the same thing the posture go and read the petition. That kind of way. Now say nipa so or disagree with you immediately now arrest him. And the police arrested the police officer and he was detained. That is what happened. So it has nothing to do with so BNDC and so the other people no and so there has to do with the Sika.
Yes.
Would you plane ticket? Chief Justice Baba you have for 1 billion edit plane ticket to America. Yeah, or my sika. Am I 1 billion? Oh, how many young ladies in this country? And even 1,000
cities.
But state need to 1 billion. A man about plane ticket alone, or quite a year piano. Your friend is saying, per diem $10,000. You see the argument, and they say, or you're entitled to. You see, yes, to quote to me, but we are talking about a private travel, and the arrangement is that who as a person, and I'm saying we are Chief Justice, we will pay. Don't worry. But state, your interest woman, and for police security do what she. Yes, I will be idea kotoa. The state will have to suffer for that.
Sure.
Honor nimyansa security tranche meba bra. So the entitlement of the security officer nobody rather comes to the daughter.
How?
And you greed. Police ni no obi kuro obi hero odi wachi kwa anya hwenko no so no ne nsa beka sa neema no because there is a reason why the state made it possible say oh kwa the private way no for security di wachi say oh yi security ne tena ncha na ode ne baba sha no twa plane ticket 1/1 way man no ena okotua per diem ya ansi ba ko pe another trip oko ena ode ne kunu
DHC security na nine.
DC security na nine and ordinary call wow we remember one for member. These are petitioner ako and otherwise no has to do with Nema Akoso speaker issue no whole back on crowd there accusations of the man Chief Justice Marco 21. Time in ho can go through ni nyina 21 accusations and also Sadiguma meneso yes oba na obeyi ne ho ano. Now, dear member can at was na ya we in the politics Council of State I go through all these accusations and I'm coming to conclusions no asem no nyensem hunu yentimi montungu anti Council of State I can was ebia na manfo nim the composition one of the immediate past Chief Justice so for Akufo Addo Unim Akoto bam for dissenting those times you know. She's a retired Supreme Court Justice. Oti bench no so oti Council of State in Hubi. And a mami we NDC ni Betty Bodidrusu or former Attorney General. Yes. Oje ahoho sa o henebe so obi ani baby ofriba. Omu nyina keka ho bi. So when it comes to Emra former Chief Justice also former Supreme Court judge. So these are issues I won't mean to say petty keke na I'm not sure that John Mahama can even pick a phone and call for Akufo say I don't know any merit money merit. The president cannot do that. He cannot call Akoto Bamfo and tell her say yes it means that seven more cano credence wom. So about saying a political party jita nani and John Mahama bae nipo mo luso mo jima high profile individuals bebre. Why is MPP not speaking for those individuals? Na mum we no mo kasama no. Enra tamale say ya fan say CEO no that tamale teaching hospital no. See ya unity. I don't think that you on your press conference. Yeah. So you see that kind of attitude you know. I say I don't know omo nkwa na betimi aye obi kwaya wouldn't Santi and this one away because petition I can't answer me. Are you aware, say, Shraj boss? Your President Mills and appointed no. MPP political and not Dompreh or Richard Niama or Mokwa petitioners or MPP for troll petition the command John Mahama say ma mena or your Shraj boss no what disika Shraj boss in the status at say justices of the High Court in the or troll petition the command say ma mena disika John Mahama J petition no go through setting up committee mo go through at the end President Mahama remove Shrad boss. I remember that. The Shrad boss was appointed under NDC, but Enam said they're not air cost no equity and President Mahama removed the Shrad boss. The same MPP or no Numuni pass send the petition that command John Mahama will follow through the constitution. And if he's following through the constitution, what is your business? And again, suspension of judges. This is not the first time. And now straw petition the command President Mahama says some judges be akwa jam ponche na nkoko. Asem no President Akufo Addo. And some no course na amoye omo find this omo hu say merit wom no mo nya ni asem no we President Akufo Addo suspended these 4 judges including Justice Gertrude okay and son of final ruling neighbor abonten and son of pama one. So you see these are powers are clothed our president war and the Akufo Addo can do the same thing. Why can't John Mahama do the same thing?
Because John Mahama.
Because John Mahama. You see that kind of way, no, looking down upon people say, oh, we didn't mean the way. Because Mekasa say, we are the poor winning yansa and can this petition, you know. And go no more kind of Bekasa baby. And can walk civil society organization be a cheer. Say, I'm Bekasa mount. Never I see one who any credible civil society organization be all coming Chief Justice. What is that with the India? So yeah, I think that the president must remain focused. Ghana for say your Supreme Court there is a problem. Individuals are on one their personal dealing or more de bonnier diomo. Policy no kind of petition in some woman. Yeah, over about hope. Nipa no swing their code police ACP at the court. Dear some we nipa nyina or media on the nimase. Now, I react say I disagree with you. What's the police for channel?
Now, also I disagree with you.
Yes.
Other way, why I will bring last one. I mean,
yes. Sabema na oye ne sa no me ho ofeche ni kunu ni nyansa wa bete ni kunu wa school che ni kunu.
Yeah, to be a police officer, what they go through.
Exactly.
Law, no, you can just look down upon that person, and that is the attitude. With the Anna, you see, these people are living in the past. In those 1990 na we kokotina me judge and the generation we na no make catch now. Yeah, but say Pontius Pilate no mo shada de chem kunta na kra ba na wudi nsemu na nipa be kana bia kire. Sir, my lord no, I'm for respect you based on what you do, not because you are chief justice.
Sure.
Na Akufo Addo no your president the kra no na man for come adwenche. How many times? Yes, now as a president the kra man for come adwenche. How much more chief justice because I disagree with that. Was monchero.
Now pass ya chena ko detain.
Ya chena detain na man ko. Sa nema we nyina na yakata so. Yes.
After the ruling.
Yes.
After the ruling.
Yes.
Don't like doesn't even make sense.
Yes. What did I
Did you ever think that you going to appoint any very serious brain?
Yes. Because
considering his posture.
Because as a chief justice, you know. Reasonable. So you have to be very reasonable, very accommodative, that kind of stuff. Obia can some kind of that kind of way. The bottom line is the judgment has been passed already. Where lies this commenter? And in her response, you know, she couldn't refute that particular. I read the response. The response, she could not refute. Saying some now branch can and no correct now. Decisions are one fan no and one judge your friends a decision now I represented the view of your friends all other way no
the judges no one in na tina sika won tibo mu say I disagree in your fan too and as I judges no kwa na was say some question
fan konkotum and na asem na branch no kan no enya enough any basis e betimi active 146 and that is for the offense the committee to decide.
That's the reason why people are saying the response no cramp my assembly more serious.
Yes,
because I admitted to all the allegations.
What you say about papa na some to anipa judge ya ote your friends committee enemy Panamai has been at the Supreme Court. Yes, in China any part go and check the records. Panel in baby because they tag him with certain wins until recently as a near society now I know most slotting in the back be about see omukra between the two no and now quarter with junior and him why what your friend is saying oba beka we did not corner not police officer. Now, Obia, we are beggar. I'm not to, and I'm a catcher. Say, we will be or you will resign a crack. The committee, you know, be comfortable
to have at least to have all that embarrassment and
another one. And then Nipo Bako Mudina, who are dominical.
Yeah,
then we also can win. Okay, Domode. Chief Justice, Omotna case in this man Dominigo, I call retirement and son a year dinner sem, and then Okotran and Nimam to us the Nabasa. So Obabra Papa near the wedding. So for me, I think that Niamana Ekosono, there is no political offense under to be a woman unless Obiwa or whatever. We are talking about evidence. Because police in the personal experience and all that on the petition. The other group near Shining Star, also no experience or Munya and Niamo Manya and other person, you know, and Nerofol, you know, or also our line 21 cases against Chief. On the Indian Crana Yao Urema airtime. Jachi question issue no.
Yeah.
Yet me ma order near Bawura court computers CBI or other from above. And never cause of chrome how me say that I did not go through the petition. You will be shocked. And a petition about one thing so one of my
also respond
because Paul I don't watch in the me who the petition no. Because Abra President Mahama or cho letter their command akwa j say on money bino that letter no got leak. Petition in Sakai and anybody wants to Paul I don't watch the edited TV so so fight it's not just response you use political anger and fight but some of these things fact because I see a different John Mahama very firm, resolute and ready to do the right thing. I'm sure say he should go ahead because that is the reason why Ghanaians voted for him because Ghanaians will not admit failure, they will not admit weakness. The focus on this, this thing goes beyond the Chief Justice. It's not about the Chief Justice. It's about the sanctity of the institution called judiciary. We cannot be having criminals living, individuals. I would think that they are all powerful. Than sad notion, do not work today because the youth of today, everything you do. That is why I don't catch yourself of no pretty say boys no far man for social media. And now man for nyama me watananka so one never trim. Now before they on the call him. So we need to do things right.
Okay.
All
right, Richard.
I said, "Bait." Torkonoo senka obuni hu a I was senka obuni hu. Na se o se subani bia eya ye hwehwe baby omuni ba.
Yes, that is the word.
That's the word.
Na omuni hu on feria de nani money get. Senko you be a buni hu no feria de buni pa ko be hu say de di tumi bi anase dibia bi ma wo a eti say de de afem wo eti say wa sit down na fra what man say be hwe so ma no Ghana wo yen Ghana for yenti ene e free bi Torkonoo ene senye ya nisu ni mfaso so ni kunu edana ni kunu nyaade o se ni kunu yaade o emfa obi ho ekwan ofa so ni kunu nyem ye emfa obi ho ekwan osori anope wadidi se wanidi ye me emfa me ho genti na me bo Torkonoo din ye bi ye di o man sika me tua to ni ye de hwe sa oba we me twi hunu mu ni no ne we ni edi tua de ka eye me ya se we ye me Chief Justice anawa be me Chief Justice pen eye me ya
to nyanko wi
na dia say me ya bio ni se wa ma ne ho kwan ama amayokuo fota MPP amayokuo fo tantan MPP we ayusu no so one fan say on my way democracy. There has always been a very primitive mentality about encophobia wo wiase say ye mame to me say me Chief Justice me na me ye miara ne miara. There is nobody wo ye onoara ne onoara. Not even the president of Ghana is onoara ne onoara. Nobody. Because the power resides always with the people of this country. It is a who the echo so now the narratives, the narrations around Mami Torkonoo, it boils down to only one subject matter.
Okay.
The NPP before their exit had planned, said they will make nonsense of all law or legal arguments. Yeah, and these are led by John Mahama Edeba. And you know, their plan was to make sure say Akufo Addo pack a cotonou with MPP for party apparatchiks. Senior Beya, Uma Sam Society quarter because Akufo Addo has already created a criminal syndicate. Edia we are some criminal syndicates no or more benefited from and Yoma Bonia Akoso Akufo Addo abemu. And until who Akufo Addo since a quarter no na ye kofie kura sika ye wiano ye kwa court no be bon sem na gu because ye no mu nyina na be di case e be di sika no ensase ye no mu na awia sika ye no mu na e be die dada enunti no Torkonoo onu na sabio ye di Assembly court or be empanel judges panu kwatena ho na fani pa mako 11 koka ne ho e Supreme Court ho eyire so paya Supreme Court ne di Assembly baba enunti no pake court no na Akufo Addo pake court no etutimi usa akwa bi ye friend ya gawo se gawo gatete o se gawo den yo boye parliamentary candidate tesa list all akodi na se muntu aba mame on a ticket of MPP God forbid anyway na me makodi na wi ene ye say list all say no why a parliamentary candidate so ko na court na Supreme Court
all right
obi enim so mo nyina ya MPP for etimeno John Mahama can reset no. The first place after Dompreh
na court no.
A court.
Okay.
Because John Assistant Chief Justice me Why some person because they are political? Why must it not be political? This is to salvage the situation all the time. Okay. Politics. The peri unless you want to tell me say politics not the papa. Why would you have to be political? And what say NDC say yes, you pursue a pumpkin justice because why a lawless lawyer.
Thank you.
Lawless.
All right.
So we want to make what your friend is saying
yeah.
I mean unim. When the Babylon is falling, let us be happy and be glad.
Okay.
Because Jericho Afenyo Ebubu to Mahamadu say free throw na bodu nya chaniti ade aka nyina ya homa.
Me da say.
Eti chani nyina tuntumu.
Ne eti me kwa ni
mu afu because o mahu say o plan no eto ati sika na o ma wia no ye ba beje.
Me da.
They thought he was joking.
Okay.
He means business. And we have reset it and put him at the way abrewa way say go nwa e ke fa sanka no. The former Chief Justice.
Okay. Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in passes a buy what follow kakra. Say Minister of Lands and Natural Resources are revoking the licenses because investigations on year say and Sasia will bow money forest in Nina no ninkrata. And Ocean Minerals Commission documenta and write a review based on Bako was in 2022. Our mother by a say ampa or more man and crate be answer forest no uncle room. And our Masaya investigations who said and Sassini be another concession be crowd what you try the ama other illegal miners and no more encroaching or more HSC Camano and almost answer cry Emma to go to Nibi as just or more cooperation be our more brain good in your no Tiffy award. Or no Ankasa. And then statement ba and ram ya sure say no so nya bi kan ye Emma wo kakosi say ono na ban kura free power we waja gold no tu na ban ni power nti waja tu na say we ye na ono oduadua kube nti obi be ka so ye galamsey a ono mo nya adwen nti the whole bra ye nkwa innocent
ya de dika me sure am me sure tie for na me sure me nua me ka say kroma wo hwe kwan a ya fa so ye politics sometimes I na time. And what's in China or observe from a very dispassionate perspective as somebody so much concerned about this country, you always be worried. Because a contaminating issue where you are there, aware that there is nothing new under the sun. The involvement of Chairman to me, the company, and the individuals, and how more Bawumia forest, not just forest reserve. On one sense, it got to a point here. A lot of investigative platforms, including Kweku Annan, Mineral Commission back and forth as to whether he had, your friend is saying, the power to go into some of these areas. Back and forth. So the evidence have been very revealing over the years. Enough evidence. Actually, say, Abrante Rijuma Odino no. In some no buy at that time, you know. As a responsible president then, no, nanka ye hwese some effort be ebe come to bear.
Yeah.
Na ya come because you bobi this obi ye galamsey obi sense asia and no enye just there. You need to probe further to ascertain. We didn't do any investigation. The president walked to Ofori abra okoshia Catholic bishops. At there and okoklewun to me say the gentleman was not doing anything illegal when indeed he was in the forest mining, destroying forests in Asafo just say. And when Nema na all ye nyina clearly a chero say yen so ni yen sase na essay Nema na koso nyina na odimu atintimare. So me dey say na no be hu lands minister or your press conference or revoke lands and as for me just say it cannot just be my revoke lands.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has perpetrated act of criminality against the state. Because Nema omoye no okroma so ni nsase woni nipa do omoyi fa ho a omowu. And Cecilia said, how long is it going to take? We cannot live in a country where some of these highly politically exposed or connected individuals engage in some of these illegal activities. Then they will say, I buy into your alliances, and it ends there. No. I'm expecting the Attorney General will pick this particular issue up. Any outstanding way be a coso, in Sonin Sasia or Maseni Biano, they must answer. And not just a contaminated, not just my wound to me. I'm telling you, evidence they never brave from Professor Frimpong Watson investigation to other investigations, including Anna's own. These are crimes you perpetrate here. You see the impact in our video. No, so yeah. Forest na said no. Ain't me my back Cecilia unless we make conscious effort to reclaim the land. So these individuals have made millions of dollars from these illegal activities.
Sure.
Poison sase, kidney disease, we cannot just allow these things to slide. So I think that government has to up the game. Now you're making sure that individuals say evidence we need to prosecute each and every one of them. Say best serve as a lesson to obi our abine way.
Yeah.
And I say obi out now join say oil financier. Amo studying say muru na ye me na me financier me na me way for no, and they think they are untouchable, they can do whatever that they want. As we speak, there are people still doing some of these things. I think that you see, this approach must be very holistic. Na ye momura say ye so ne ye nsase na mra ne hye da honie wo ni ho kwan na say obi be ye this small scale mining na and hye ne niam da ho some guidance be must come to bear sebe ya yen say yen so ne ye nsase na waban ba power all of a sudden you become empowered to the extent that you can just go into the forest and do it. I'm not sure say your friend say on mind betimi tumpon because chama wuntumi a wo kana say me 2016 abrajo Mahamadu because and some of his things were confiscated.
Yeah.
Akufo Addo everything was returned to him. They even paid him a compensation at the time, and then the guy was liberated. That was why he was at that time. He moved from normal concession site to forest reserve, and he was being protected by soldiers in the military. Then it also comes to mind, your political power. Because power na we are supposed to use that same political power to guide the state, protect the state, protect the people, and commit to the welfare of the people just to ensure say resources na okroma in such a way say benefit the people of this country. But unfortunately for us, and then power ni we look at the friends like selfish parochial interest and you pursue very narrow interest as to whether affected the larger life prospect of more Ghanaians. We don't care, and at the end of the day, you have the state, the establishment will defend and protect you, and it's the reason why some of these highly connected individuals within government were able to do some of these things. You see, at some point he was not the president.
Sure.
To that point, he said some of the investigation now could do say court to grab bar. Your friends at the investigative body said they shouldn't even mention his name anywhere. We cannot live in the country and allow some of these things to happen because if a reasonable person, you wake up and you look at our forest, you look at our water bodies, you look at the toxic exposure, you should be worried. But we cannot prioritize the greed of few individuals who are twisted mind because they have political connections and they think they can do whatever. Then majority of people will be languishing in some of these things that we see. So for me, I think you see, there must be a certain renewed effort.
Okay.
Some of these individuals involved in some of these criminal activities, we need to prosecute them. Go back for the documents. Professor Frimpong Watson is alive. He's the one who authored that particular report. He can collaborate with the security agencies. These are some of the things I want to hear. But your press conference is good though, just to keep people. But you see, we need to move beyond that. For instance, I branch here and Anno, you say, the millions of dollars, what's the free way for account, the signals brewery. Press conference. Yes, I'm expecting that by now, courts are starting holding us. Because you see, some of these things, and when you act slowly, like some of these things are a killing momentum, and more people begin to ask questions. They're their cost, because after the press conference, we were made to believe that evidence, everything was already available. So what are we waiting for? You understand? There must be some swiftness in our effort just to ensure that we punish crime. Deterrent. We don't punish crime because we hate the individuals. And I say, punish individuals because or your way and answer or your way. Never no more yan stop is or mine a some because in other jurisdiction they take it further. Now no make as a South Korea sitting president has been impeached because or declared martial law. I'm a soldier for parliament. Parliament. What is the investigation? The president has been impeached by parliament or Assembly Court, Supreme Court. Supreme Court unanimously ruled said no, you had no power to declare martial law. Nemana way was deemed unconstitutional. South Korea president Nitifie. Ya pamno because of Nema or you know. Why can't we take you from some of these things? Here, a man for your power, they become so powerful to the sense that power now when you call the Yanyan Sadia, can I say different thing? Power, no? That is why you see certain foolishness coming to bear. The decisions and the consequences of their decision, you know, our far-reaching consequences on the fortunes and the life of the people, but we don't care because we are in power. I think that we need to set the stage now, just to ensure that we pick the pieces, some of these things, and going forward, you know, you see, galamsey my country, we cannot, the same approach, yeah, so you for Colanda, yeah. Rollins time, Nano Minister Janibicasa, or say Rollins time. No, we could chase a man for out of the forest. How many years now? It's been 30 years. We are still here. People are still there. Now the numbers are increasing. In policy wise, you know, we need to come up with something very comprehensive. We bet me, I assuage this individual because my culture is one of the motivating factor when it comes to young people going into some of these things, poverty. You cannot take a man from his livelihood without providing an alternative. So, as a package, as a policy plan, the government need to look at how obetimi are restitute these individuals, win them off from this illegal mining to something very productive. So, if you go to the mining areas like Obuasi and other places, under their beneath their feet, people are mining gold, millions of dollars, and they are taking the monies away. What do you expect them to do? They will do some of these things, you understand? And more benefits, and that's a different thing.
Yeah.
There are campaigns somewhere who are politically connected and highly exposed individuals. At the end of the day, control all these things, sitting in the shadows. I think that our approach, you know, we need to revise it and make sure, focus should not be on politically distant, but a comprehensive approach dealing with the problem on the ground. Yes, sir. A better like washing your feet, a bra wash socks. Now when you're that is why 30 years after we are still here. Yeah. I am looking at, let us go beyond the rhetorics. Let us go beyond the individuals involved. At certain stage, at this point, Ghana for unanimously have come to terms. We don't want galamsey. We don't want people satisfying their greed, our detrimental way on the fortunes of these people. We need to make sure mining, it should be responsible mining. And again, your mineral regime, everywhere be a message, and I'll say this, we need to look at how you better renegotiate not Ghana and your stake. Because other countries are moving a step further by nationalizing all their state assets. Why can't we do the same thing? Burkina Faso, that is what he's doing. And some other countries, by the 2%. It doesn't make sense. And now young people are becoming increasingly enlightened. They know, they have a stake. It's the reason why I call mining areas now. Most of the young guys are coming up. In the next 10 years, they will rise and chase these companies out. They see Obuasi, similar things are likely to happen in the future if we sit aloof and don't do nothing about this situation. Because you think now people are consuming information, they're becoming enlightened. You don't become enlightened and sit down. No. Nobody consumes information, become enlightened and sit idle. When they consume information, they will act on it. And it's the reason why you see some of these wave of activism on various social media, because now people have become enlightened. So we should be threatened by some of these things if we don't do the needful. I'm calling on all stakeholders. Your mineral regime, your resources, we need to look at it critically. I'm happy government is working on demand just to take it away from. Yes, we need to nationalize all these things. And yes, sir. Boys, if they have nothing, they will rise. And my culture say, youth, they are very dangerous because they will do everything to survive. Hopelessness, they are drive a lot of people into way. So we need to sit up and comprehensively, look at our mining regime, look at some of these things and the prospect. Because a man for to me free China, number 2 gold, no more science as first we can do it here by forming minor state-owned companies at the district level. You train individuals, but they have the skills, highly equipped with the knowledge, everything. At the back of these people, we can employ some of these young folks to help in this mining activities. Now, fortunately for us in Africa, we have youthful population that's for over natural resources are you will be. Over human resources are you will be. Are there any nyansa? I don't know who nyansa. Oh, nyansa. Because when I didn't so we nim nyansa de we nyansa ba be fa akọ. Na wadwene ho. How say you will gold? In abundant our soil. Africa has I think so we could evolve we are next.
Yeah.
Na yenya saa nneema we nyina na kwabra ne betima ba betu ni nyina da ko se tu na fa kwana ma me royalty na da wo bodam. How can you do this? You understand? Yenya oil na ya negotiate omo metu no omo 10%. You can't do this in this modern world. You understand? In the past there maybe ebi na ye ninim dia wo ho afena na about the resources the whatever but can you say the same thing? I think we need to rethink na ye approach na ye na politics na ye no every benefiting nipa. We are creating criminals out of this politics. We are making people rich but the state is getting poorer. But the whole essence of governance leadership politics is taking care of the nipa now the marginalized in society, welfare of the people, but that is not our politics. And look at how people have become fabulously rich all because they are in power. We cannot continue to do this. My culture said the only last leg Ghana democracy so this Mahama administration, and it must inspire trust, confidence, and hope. Because say Ghana we will lose our democracy. I'm telling you. So this is a test case for us. We need to be tough. That is why I'm happy the president is taking and making tough calls. You understand? Because at this point, you need to be strong and make sure that the decisions that you take, will inure into the benefit of the larger people of this country and not the obibity in China. And if we go on this line, trust me, I think things will work out.
You're not clear, but I was here, said you didn't create it here. You cut a nina or more or mompeno creno. You're such a no catch out. Me best Frida minister here, sir, press conference. My imagine say, me co-minister na menina couldn't keep out. But mene kita mudie previously ama me hu sani usi na nioma enu nti no menya abotire kakra
ba no.
Yes, because menim sani otie menim se odi abotire dwanta tie nya na nso enu nti on behalf of the many Ghanaians na omo susu se e wo senka minister fa kwan bi so na ojai sun no ni omo be ya adwen den susu no we nya botre kakra.
Okay,
she adia wontumi aye oban we no eni obi le be ka che aban se aban famintu because say me na me ya and
yeah.
Say innocent na ya nkasa we innocent. And most of na yema enkofo to some judgments across wabra ensem fata say ebi kura na enka anyoma ni bi wo a yebe kwa agina ene yebua. What you say?
Yeah.
Want to me a mamboyini and so we should video no and young one the entire minister because so a choir sabi and you chair want to me na council.
No.
Not what you the excavator room. Want to me shall see us a war fefe. Not what could this security war London UK. Security man. What this security na wonhu ne ho ano. And o yes say no man we kra say we good here. No sha say no ne sana fo bi. E ba e no be a company. E wo no ni din. But na China fo ni sika.
And no dey.
And o dey. Ne friend no handsome mine. And omo dey say 2 year China ni na Ghana. Na wajo $1 million. Na wa ma okwan am wa be. No one wa kutwa asase ama. Illegally. Na was it two. Ya kakaben sam sa na skaba ni sam. Skaba ni sam no. No, afi was spreading the wings. It is our breno. Na Professor Mills Abain, but na John Mahama. Ena, where police council head. To try so the police bear Jumano. Now it got to a point that police got corrupted by Untumi and the associates. And I John Mahama, Bekaya, or my military a quiet Jumano. Wabra Wabaye Mampeni, Satan Napo Samuels, upon the crazy. I may find a crazy. Menumi and Nina Kai, the sea between Untumi and a Mahama.
Yeah.
Wabra not all say quiet. Satan, na I saw from penny for Nipa said you can be a woman or my woman. Instead, said, or mobile tia to me, no, almost said, John Mahama, nanny. The more my fear, they say, John Mahama, and Pewun to me as them. Otano. We all say, quiet sense, your sense, I say. But Tana Sammy may turn out in the end. I feel you say, Your mama proud position to me excavators. But yeah, I say more Ghana. Emma, I say, I'm buying for Akufo Addo buying a buyer, or continue more judgment debt.
Yeah.
She can treat the idea man on a child between whom. Now, and penny for say, and now dear Mayfa, a jar dear Mayfa, and another chrono Cassiera. So, my lady, and quite could see free Jimuna Kuria and Munamri. Na sebi auto draw won kwam wa bre to draw wo apum ana se sebi esu mu say never it me surprised at all they want to me aye.
Okay.
Because they have treated him with kids gloves. O mama na yet say oh Ghana ha oh si Kenya ready for that.
Tino so want to Abribiano, what ye na dear to say, so when you can qua dear, obey me, they are buying anyway. But it's unfortunate. Say, and then, Kwaku share will be a when you can you, I'm a boy or the four. Obia winning buano, not Wako, Sebi, or Mwenchi, or a year, a lembele. Yeah.
Kwaku Busa, say, why no near from Boa? The Boa family, no. Kone Kubuso Munchi. There now only be a crampono, there only be a crampono. Yeah, so we here, send only caprello.
Yeah.
May penny shoe a shine. There only be no. And you know, when you be a Sabi, a beer, or the dama, and to Kosia obi a oye defo wontumi no eyesikani wanyesika na boa no ye odefo
da wono nya politics na ma wanyesika
eyesikani tipeni odefo
yeah
etino eme de papa say we no nya de a okwa kosia boa say ma corrupt no ehone ade a
eya
ma manigie ye to so bi enti se susuan pa say ye say there were state institutions, law enforcement agencies. They said the Ghana Police Service, the military, all those security agencies, the BNI or the NIB or the National Security Apparatus. You say, I dear way in the wound to me, I hear, yes, say, yes, send you soon, you're quiet. Under the guise of mining. Yeah, company now could be, a contano. Akufo Addo obane de me se makase me nua ba me monidi but Akufo Addo na ya akonta no e na wontumi se akonta to akonta wontumi no sa ba na Akufo Addo ya enu nti no ya bie ho akonta mine no obane kreska no onya bi
onya ska ni bi ni
Ojabidi no mo mama na so de ne ono am so eso ono am. Eti company na Akufo Addo dia. Akonta mining. Me si ni pi se akonta mining no Akufo Addo dia. Wontumi e na ye work campaign. Ono oye hweso ma me. Na mo no wontumi fa president e ko bie company.
Yeah.
Eti wo e na wo ye makonta. enti ko ne ko bie company no na yenye work and pay
me hye wachi
enti wutu sorry a no asesa ofo anyina na nadia muntu anyina na nadia muntu ena ode omukowura forest no muntu kwaye ni muntu tu munyoma bibi semwia no se kwaye obi concession wo twadua wo no mukowura mu no muntu twanua no tugu ye ono de dua wo de ye den
ofa dua na nyewe
edua sabi forest reform a kwan se twa no watwa otimi twa no watutu ase no aye ho no basa enua wo guagu no enye nua ketwa kwaya wasai no hwe ba bia ye ka ho asemi uhwe enua wasai na ne esi ye quantify ebe sen etimi ne me security apparatus no nyina ho ya
okay
say you don't have to have orders from the president or the minister say obi ko via omaya de na o share the chronology of events okowura kwaye nim Akufo Addo hu say waye illegality na wo hu say eye den abai foforo ba obenya punitive ayi bi no and o say okay ye koye mra bi na emra no entre say ubetimi kura mine wo
forest reserve
just because of akonta mining just because of akonta mining boni anu wedia minister kura no at that time no be kan say akonta mining adwuma na wo ye no ese kwaye no ese nsuo no nti no omunya adwuma ye ewa president no waji akonwa no waye press conference say me abuginapo me meyewu sebi obi a wo kwakwahwe akwa me meyewu yie na me de me madwuma wo mese no akonta ma na nya hwe o te so obo wuntumi di o si akonta de
mining
when na ya akonta no wuntumi na ye na akonta
okay
enti no se wo hwe de e ko ni nyina research no it means a lot
okay
what must say it means that we should begin from our minds. Na yen research ya adwen. Na yen chart new path. Na yen drive your new force. Enkofa teti nsamwa ekoso police ntimi nya na dwuma abie na ifo kroma da ye friend say national security minia razak wada dabi. I was say by now ya yire no.
Okay.
Akufo Addo mpona muntimi nyire na.
Ada ne ntimi nyire so 3 years na nso yi.
There be 3 years na nso ye e na sebi o de fa de se ono wako abu. Se yesuma benyansafo.
Yesuma na mate.
It is a me Akufo Addo krampo se me hu nyansampo na me suma abakwasea. Bakwasea no onye na so twen.
Okay.
E bedru bra a investigation be kire se Akufo Addo na suma no. Na ye nyina ye hu se muntumi aso twen aba. Anya sa na say bi obi ko wia tomatoes ana obi ko wia bode e kom ena de no na wo kwache na menti asie se police be kwa kwache obi a ko wia bode na obi a ono wotimi ase kwaya asensuo asensase ono de wafa ne hu adi etimi ana mi nuano no
okay
omo nyire ne pampe senya sa so so no mo ntimi nyire no a omo mehwe ye wo boys o betimi akọ
o metimi ayere no mbate
okay obi mama lie say yes we dwane akotena UK the figure na heko UK 7 hours
who bedru sisi ya
7 hours
okay all right
so da sukra ni UK papers na na say onkra so kra mo ma interpol kwachire
okay
no mra me answer questions
okay
anya sa research no eso ni faso oh esa na de ebe kasa and you do when you kasa o
action
action
okay
you know you best sure mo oh so say you down because me no anya this year me nka me yiku e wa Akufo Addo apreso me ya ka me ye but and now say me when it does so say
yeah
John Mahama be ni yie ni nti no ene ye nyina ye no nsuo twen o pese anya so da fo kwa yiku o bi da o
civilians is yiku
ka Akufo Addo ka obedwane a conscious boxer shot na go bi ehun le danto ni sema
okay
twen just because of John Mahama Oba, like million innocent kind. John Mahama is the last legger. Na bemwo we Ghana for betimi anya gidi wo say your democracy ni betimi agina. Say Felipe
asemaba.
We will pick the bull by its horn. Okay. I'm not saying we meaning that Ghana for nyina.
Okay.
Ghana for nyina including Obi Kurampa sebi wadano. We will awake all the way no. Now yetimi abuama sebi ya fire into my pefra because who say the Trari wo Burkina no. Senko fasa democracy kwan so anke woni.
Nko wonti menye.
Ofasa kwan na yen ya adwe say nya kwan pa so no. And then he's better than even the ECOWAS that we are discussing at 50 no.
Okay.
But you know, looking at that example no, we don't want us to think say soldier buying.
Okay.
But in any case, if soldier buying po yakase enye in the past, presently, what are their records?
Okay.
All three, their records are not bad. And nothing at Mahama, or ya no action more ben. When ECOWAS have at least giving them some form of webia as a yen to already a action more ben. Ama say no Ghana for so because they say Trari that Ghana no need John Mahama contest election. John Mahama be lose. That is the style I pay. So even while you are gentle, make sure you crack the whip like you are doing.
Yo, it is for when a reporter abato yepono make say so when you subscribe to channel idea bomodi say over subscribe. Now while like video no give us a thumbs up na fe share ma wo foforo so na when you be here na wo hu ensemwa ekoso e wo Ghana memo hanum. Also betimi achere wadwen afa eye somwe nyina ho e wo comment box mu mobati minkabi in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.